Hey, Dave Dynasty here for the Tommy Wildfire Rich School of Wrestling in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. You know, I've spent years in the wrestling business from wrestler to promoter and now as host of the Dave Dynasty Show. And I know that solid training from an experienced instructor is mandatory, and that is what you'll get at the Tommy Wildfire Rich School of Wrestling. Not only instruction from former NWA World Heavyweight Champion Tommy Wildfire Rich, but many other big-name wrestlers, managers, and referees that will come in as guests. The Tommy Rich School of Wrestling will provide in-ring training and personal character training with all practices recorded on high-definition cameras. They have over 2 tons of weightlifting equipment, tanning beds. It's all in an indoor sports facility that will host monthly wrestling events that will bring in big names to ensure that you, as a beginning student, can get seen. This school has it all. For anyone interested in proper training, contact the Tommy Wildfire Rich School of Wrestling at 843-691-9205, and you will immediately be on your way to a profession in the wrestling business. Once again, call the Tommy Wildfire Rich School of Wrestling in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina at 843-691-9205.
The talking, nagging, lucha watching, puro viewing, indie supporting, drinking, cursing son of a gun of a podcast. Join former pro wrestler and promoter Dave Dynasty and co-host Ike Isaacs as they talk wrestling and interview those within the business, bringing positivity back to pro wrestling. This is the Dave Dynasty Show.
And greetings and welcome to the Dave Dynasty Show. This is your host, Dave Dynasty. Thank you for joining us this week. However you do, whether it be on iTunes, SoundCloud, or YouTube, or any of the other podcast platforms, we are glad you're here. We are glad you're supporting the Midwest Express. That's what it's all about. Supporting pro wrestling in the Midwest, past, present, and future. And it's all about bringing positivity back into pro wrestling. Oh, it's been a wild week. We got a good guest today. The franchise, Troy Miller, formerly known as Top Rope Troy, for you that have been around the Midwest for a while. We got a great interview with him today. And we got some wisdom from Mance Warner. And, we got to kick this off here. I'm going to talk for a few minutes about a couple of downers. We had here in the Midwest, we lost a couple of folks here recently. I'm going to talk first about a gentleman by the name of Dallas James, who we just lost Sunday, kind of very unexpectedly. Literally, I remember sitting there on Facebook, browsing through and seeing that he posted something about an NFL game, and I believe it was somebody's defense or something. I don't really recall. And then just a few hours later, seeing reports that he had passed away, and man, that breaks my heart. Dallas James was a great guy, and a great wrestler, great promoter. If you've been a fan here in the Midwest for a while, you know who he is. Of course, my first encounter or recognition of Dallas was, back attending indie shows as a young teen in the area, and him and Austin James, Dallas and Austin James, the James boys, were a team, and man, they were a couple of the first guys that I really became fans of in the area, and Dallas was one of the first guys that I realized, as a local talent that was around, and man, it's always heartbreaking when you lose somebody, but especially when it comes so unexpectedly, and we want to send all the good vibes and positive thoughts out to his wife and kids and their family. Man, it's tough. It's tough when you lose someone like that. And then, of course, the wrestling world, of course, lost Bobby Heenan. And, while I didn't have the personal encounters with Bobby, like I did with Dallas and everything, man, Bobby Heenan, as far as wrestling, the wrestling business goes, was probably the greatest influence on me ever. As a kid, and watching him, watching Bruiser stuff on local TV, and Bruiser with his TV shows was always, he always showed old footage, right? He didn't care when it was from, but there was always old stuff on there, so even past the point where Heenan was gone and left the WWA, he was on WWE TV every now and again. And man, he was just, he was so good. And then obviously, I saw him kind of in the area, saw him, some of his AWA stuff, which was excellent. Him and Nick Bockwinkel, and it is just tremendous. And then of course, everybody worldwide got to know who Bobby Heenan was when he was in WWE, the WWF at that time. And his heel work as a manager, his work is on commentary, which carried on into WCW later. And man, Bobby Heenan was so good at everything. It's been said a million times now, how much it's lost on how great a wrestler, how great a worker he was, but it's true. But in my mind, the greatest manager of all time, in my mind, the greatest commentator of all time. I mean, the greatest talker this business has ever seen, and that's saying something, because I was enthralled and in love with Bobby Heenan's style. And when I started in the business as a manager, I tried to be a hybrid of Bobby Heenan and Jim Cornette. I wanted to be that smart aleck, witty, one-liner-ish talker Bobby Heenan was, kind of wrapped in that spoiled rich pretty boy deal that Jim Cornette had going on. And Bobby, God, he was such an influence on me, and I was such a fan of his all the way through. I mean, when I, go back and watch stuff, even if Heenan's involved, it was always a highlight to watch. Of course, history will always tell how important the Andre the Giant heel turn was around WrestleMania 3 time. But when you're a kid that's 11, 12 years old when this is happening, watching wrestling religiously and not missing a second of anything you can see, and to see this unfold and happen, the impact it is amazing. It was incredible, and none of it would have happened. None of it would have been possible. That match, that card, the draw of it would not have been what it was without Bobby Heenan, hands down. And I know, everybody's doing their Bobby Heenan tributes. Everybody's, and that's, I love that, because I love hearing them. I love seeing all the clips people are sharing and stuff. And so I'm not saying anything that, people aren't saying a dozen times over or whatever. But personally speaking, Heenan was the influence. He was the guy that, I always knew I wanted to do something in wrestling. Somehow I wanted to get involved. And Bobby Heenan, I wanted to be Bobby Heenan. I don't care if I was a poor man, cheap knockoff. I didn't care. I wanted to do what Bobby Heenan did, and he made me want to get involved all the more. And my thoughts and prayers go out to him, and good vibes, him and his family. Two big losses in the wrestling world here in the Midwest. I don't, I hate to, we talk about positivity, but sometimes you gotta, there's the realism of, the downs, and, but, let's positively think about how great these guys were, how great Dallas James was, and how great Bobby Heenan was, and what they meant to us. And that's what I try to do here. I try to preserve legacies and the histories of guys that a lot of people maybe don't know of or don't remember. And obviously people know Bobby Heenan, but help do that, with Heenan, with Dallas James, with guys like that. And don't wait. Let's don't wait till they're gone. If there are so many guys out there that have done so much and mean so much to regional wrestling that people don't even know who they are. And that's what I try to do. I try to bring a little recognition to those guys, a little shine to their legacy, and get them out there and say, hey, take a look at this guy. So help in that, help jump on the Midwest Express, help support this this cause and be a positive part. I'm not really gonna plug any shows or talk about anything else. Just thoughts and good vibes to the families of Dallas James and Bobby Heenan. And we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about one of those guys that probably doesn't get enough recognition for what he's accomplished in wrestling and what he means to Midwest professional wrestling. We'll have an interview with Troy Miller, so stick around.
Visit our friends at the Masked Republic. Go to luchaloot.com and luchashop.com and use the promo code DYNASTY for exclusive discounts.
And welcome back to the Dave Dynasty Show. I am your co-host, Ike Isaacs, and today we have the one, the only, the franchise, Troy Miller. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Ike. Thank you guys for having me.
Always not a problem at all. It's a pleasure and an honor, and I'm excited to have you on here. So let's go ahead and just hit the ground running. First question, as always, where are you from, Troy?
I'm from Marion, Indiana, born and raised.
Born and raised Marion, Indiana. All right, right on. So pretty simple. What was your childhood like in Marion? Did you play any sports?
Growing up, I did play some sports. I wrestled in junior high. I played Little League Baseball. I was a runner, so I didn't like to run, but I was good at it. So, every race that I did run, I was kicking myself in the butt, but I was good at it. I excelled at long-distance running, so I was a cross-country runner. Not by choice, though, really.
Okay, right on. Then you wrestled in junior high, you said. So what were your first memories of professional wrestling? Did you watch wrestling when you were younger?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Every time I was at my grandparents' house, they had wrestling on. Dick the Bruiser, a lot of AWA stuff, Vern Gagne, the High Flyers. Stuff like that. Never really was a huge fan, but every time I was at my grandparents that have it on, I'd watch it, and I'd be like, man, that's pretty cool, About the time Rocky III came out, and I saw Thunder Lips on Rocky III, and the scene with him and Rocky, dude, I was just, hooked, and I was a Hulkamaniac from that day forward.
Okay, right on. So then, definitely, with those early experiences in childhood, that kind of gives you that disposition for liking wrestling and such. So when was it that wrestling actually hooked you, though? When did you know that you wanted to be a wrestler?
I would say from the time, when I started watching it. When I started getting into it, Hogan was the guy that drew me to the sport. When I started watching it, guys like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Macho Man, Randy Savage, just guys like that, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, everything about it just drew me to it. And, they say don't try this at home. Let me tell you, we were trying it at home. It came naturally. It's just, and the more I watched it, the more I studied it. It wasn't that I was just watching it from a fan's perspective. I was watching it on how to do things and how they did this and how they did that. And, of course, I'm going to try it. So from there, it just grew into a love for the business, and I just kept going.
Absolutely. And, yeah, the old, don't try this at home warning before all wrestling, that never deterred anyone, I don't think.
Not a true fan anyways.
Exactly right. So then definitely getting the love for wrestling was kind of the first step into the business, and then obviously the next leap would be the training. So when was it that you trained, and who trained you?
Okay, well, of course, being a fan, I was going to all the shows. Any show that was around, we were going to. We were going to every WWE house show, every WWE TV taping, anything that was local or close within driving distance, we were there. And we were at a local show here in town one day, and there was a wrestler by the name of Cousin Bubba. And he was from Fairmount, Indiana. And when we seen that, we just instantly popped. Because Fairmount is maybe a 10-minute drive from my house. So, one Friday night after the show, actually it was probably the next weekend, we went to Fairmount, Indiana. We looked all over town. We did find out that Cousin Bubba, his name is David Lamb, and he worked for the Civil Defense. Fairmount's not a very big town. It's the home of James Dean, and everybody knows everybody in this town. So we asked a few people, and this is how crazy our fandom was. I mean, you just take off and you just drive around town asking people if they know who Cousin Bubba is. But everybody knows him. And this guy, I don't even remember who he was. He said, I can tell you where his aunt lives. I won't give you his address, but I'll let you know where she lives. And if she wants to tell you, then, we'll go from there. Well, we knocked on this lady's door. It was probably, I don't know, by this time it's probably 9 o'clock at night. And she's, an elderly lady, and she's like freaking out. These two young kids are knocking on her door this late at night. It's dark out. And we're like, you know Cousin Bubba? You know Cousin Bubba? And she's like, hold on, guys. She's like, yes, I know David. He is my nephew. He's a wrestler, And I was like, yes, that's why we're here. She took our phone numbers, and she was really nice. So we left, and, it was probably, I didn't think we were going to hear from him. It was a few days, and, we were just, like, nervous. We were, biting our fingernails thinking, this guy's not going to call. He did call.
Okay.
And we talked on the phone. When I started training, I was a junior in high school. I was only 16 years old. So, of course, we had to have permission. Our parents had to meet him, sit down, talk with him, had to sign the waiver, all that stuff. But my mom and dad, they just thought it was a phase. They thought, this is just something that, he's not going to stick with. He's a kid. He's just going to, it's just a passing phase. But they went ahead and agreed. And as it got warmer, they got some rings, and and that's something. I wasn't a stranger to rings, because every time a show would come around, NWA would come around, and I can't even think of the guy's name right now. I don't know why it escapes me, but he was Buddy Lee Parker. Him and Klondike Bill used to set the rings up, and they drive around, all these little spot shows. And me and my buddy, we would be at these spot shows. We'd get there early, and we had enough sense, we'd help him set the ring up. And every time we'd help him set the ring up, Klondike Bill, he was a cool dude. And, he would let us roll around or do whatever we wanted to do in the ring for a few minutes, after we set it up. If we helped him in tearing it down as well, they let us do that too. So that was another way we got our kind of foot in the door with stuff like that. But, yeah, David got us set up with some training and doing it in the backyard and stuff. I thought I knew what I was doing. But, you never know until you actually get in there with a professional and they show you the ins and the outs. I've watched everything. I've watched The Secrets of Pro Wrestling and all that stuff. So I had kind of an idea. I wasn't your typical fan. I was smart already. I just had to get in the ring. It did take some tweaking, some stuff like that. Of course, I already knew the left-hand side of the working, all that stuff. I already knew pretty much how to pull the punches, and it was my life. That's all I thought about, all I did throughout school. And so just getting in the ring, taking bumps. I was young, stupid, not afraid. And, we just went with it. And it was just like, it was a natural thing. It was a God-given talent, I believe. Some people have it, some people don't. But I have that athleticism, and, I was able to, it was something that I really wanted to do. So we just started training, and we were off and running from there.
Absolutely. So then, obviously, like you said, you had the passion from a younger age, then you got into training, and then, you obviously excelled at it. So when you eventually had your first match, what was that match like, and who were you with?
Okay, we trained for probably 6 months. That's in the summer into the fall. Every time they had a ring set up, sometimes we'd go down to Quicksilver. He had a ring. Sometimes we'd go down to his place. We'd get in the ring. There's another wrestler that had a ring in Anderson. We would go to his place and get in the ring. About 6 months in, there was a TV taping coming up in Fort Wayne, Indiana for Power Slam Pro Wrestling, and the Dark Angel, he was the guy that headed that up. He was he had a long feud with Dick the Bruiser, long feud with Bobo Brazil Jr., who was Calypso Jim back then. So he got a hold of Cousin Bubba, said he needs some guys for this TV taping, so we went with Bubba. He took us up there, and, I was scared to death because, I thought my first match was going to be, just a regular spot show, get in there and, take a few bumps and whatever, but it's a TV match. Granted, we're in the Fort Wayne Public Library. It's a public access show, but still, your first match ever, you're going to be nervous. You're going to have the butterflies. I wrestled a guy named John Osborne. He was the Mysterious Sheik, which is the gimmick he did all throughout the Midwest for a while. And I was, scared to death. But we went in there. I didn't screw up. Everything went good. And I made a good showing for myself. And, that really impressed a lot of the guys. And, it went a long way back then.
Absolutely. So then when you started, what gimmick did you have? I think the one that I thought, something I saw here was that you were Top Rope Troy. Was that what you started as?
Yes. Yep, Top Rope Troy was my name when I started. I was a scrawny 120-pound junior in high school. And, I pretty much, I was small. I'm a short guy. I'm only 5'6", 5'7" tops now. I was a tiny guy. I had to do something to make myself stand out, and what better to be a high flyer. Back then, there wasn't a lot of that going on, especially on the independent East Coast independents. Yeah, we had that. Mexico guys, yeah, but the Midwest independents, you didn't have anybody going to the top rope. And it used to be, the running joke, all they'd do is punch, kick, and choke. That was a wrestling match around here. I would hit the top rope, and I would do, high cross bodies, drop kicks. I'd fly to the floor, planches, suicide dives, do flips, stuff like that, stuff that nobody's seen around here. And, like they say today, less is more. That wasn't my philosophy back then. It was a stupid philosophy, but I had to do something different to stand out. And I was smart enough to know that trying to go toe-to-toe and head up with, all these veterans and older guys, it wasn't going to work. So I had to try to do something different. And, it worked for me. So thankfully enough, that's something that I was gifted with and was able to do, and I used it to my advantage.
Oh, absolutely. So, like you said, that wasn't really something that was known back then. Like you said, you were doing the higher flying stuff, and I've heard the same joke. It was a a punch, kick, and a suplex, and that was pretty much it. And,
body slam was the high spot,
right? So you were I would definitely say for around here in the Midwest, that was definitely innovation, because like you said, you didn't really see that anywhere around here. But definitely in your career, you started pretty strong, it seems like. And you mentioned the Dark Angel. So tell us about the Dark Angel and what he means to your career.
Oh, if it wasn't for him, I never would have got my break. He booked me on his first show. I think I wrestled 3 times on that first show, different opponents. Of course, I didn't go over. I don't think I went over on a match like my first 2 or 3 years in the business. The guys, they were good that I worked with. They gave me 2 or 3 spots. So I would do as much in those 2 or 3 spots to shine that I could do as much as I could, just to get something, just a little glimmer to people say, hey, this kid's got talent. But of course, they beat the crap out of me. And, but yeah, the Dark Angel, he loved it. And, I was a young guy, and most of the guys that were left, or, it was from the Bruiser territory, the old fallout from all the guys that wrestled for Bruiser. So I would say most of everybody that was working back then, mid to late 30s, early 40s. I was 16. My cousin that trained with me, he was 17. So, you got 2 white meat babyface guys. They're going to put us in there. They're going to beat the crap out of us. And, but yeah, Angel loved it. He loved our look, and he loved the fact that we sold, and we just enhanced the match. We would do pretty much anything for it. Back then I'd take any bump. I didn't care. So if I could put somebody over and make them look good, that's what my job was, and I did it.
Absolutely. And, it seems like you did a very good job of that. So, because you did indeed, you started out small, but then you eventually got a bit larger than life, and you kind of fit the role. So you wrestled in many companies, but one of the ones we have listed here is you worked for BBOW Wrestling.
Mm-hmm, that's correct. Yes, John Osborne, he's the guy that I wrestled in my first match. He ran a promotion out of Kokomo, Indiana called Bad Boys of Wrestling. And he used a lot of the same guys, that's pretty much how it was. If one guy down in Indy wasn't running, he would run in Kokomo, and he would use the Bobo Brazil Juniors. He would use the TJ Powers. He would use the Dan Garzas, the Quicksilvers. He'd bring in Dice Man, Ronnie Vegas, Dangerous Bull, Don Basher. So I got to work with all these guys. Then when, they'd see me work and they'd see that, I did a good job selling and making guys look good. Don Basher, when he'd have a show down in Indianapolis for WCWO or down in Greensburg or whatever, he'd book me on those shows. So, just working with all these guys and just getting my name out and continually producing good matches in the ring. Everybody loved to work with me, and they just kept booking me, and it was good.
No, absolutely. I mean, and then as well, you also work for other promotions, and you regularly appeared for WCWO and Pro Wrestling International.
Oh yeah, for sure. So when I would work with those guys like Dan Garza and Quicksilver and Don Basher and them guys on other shows. And let me tell you, it wasn't no easy task back then. Talk about being stiff, and I was a young guy. They didn't want new guys to come in the wrestling business like it is today. Back then, it was very closed. Kayfabe was alive and well, and it was a very secretive business. And they weren't too. A lot of them weren't too likely to give away all their secrets in the back. I was smart enough to be trained by Cousin Bubba. I mean, the guy was a local legend, and he taught me the right way about everything. He warned me about getting the big head. He warned me about, how to conduct yourself in the locker room. You shut up. You sit there and you listen. And I got to ride in the car with him on several trips, and that's all we did was talk wrestling, talk business etiquette, and how to conduct yourself in the locker room. And I think that falls on deaf ears today in our business, which is sad. But, I would sit there. I wouldn't say nothing to nobody. I'd keep my mouth shut and listen to everything. So I'm a fan still at this point, I'm glued to everything that's going on, hearing these guys tell their stories, hearing them going over their matches and stuff like that. And I was lucky because a guy like Bobo Brazil Jr., he took a liking to me. And everybody knows that he's a locker room leader, and he's one of the good guys backstage. And for somebody like him to take a liking to you and just to sit and have him teach me and talk to me about stuff, that's a great learning tree to sit under. You get to sit there and guys like TJ Powers, guys like Dice Man, Dan Garza. I got to team with Quicksilver. You just learn so much. And, when Dan opened up PWI down in Indy, I got the opportunity to come work for him down there. And PWI opened a lot of doors for me. It was a stepping stone to my career, and a lot of eyes see me, and I had one of the best times in my whole wrestling career down in Pro Wrestling International.
Absolutely. Like you said, you've had a pretty illustrious career. Up until that point, you wrestled all over the Midwest. Even up to today, these are just a couple of the places you've worked, of course. And you've made a name for yourself with the cruiserweight style. But you've done a lot. I look at your resume and it's a mile long, and like you said, you learned the original way back in the day. You learned not to get the big head. When you're in the locker rooms, you learn the etiquette. But something that like you said, that falls on deaf ears today is the whole idea of locker room etiquette and all that stuff. So if you had to teach a lesson to people nowadays, what would you tell them?
Just to. Take it seriously, but not too seriously. You still can have fun. Just listen to the guys that have come before you, and don't dismiss anything they say, because, even me, back when I was coming up, I thought I knew everything, and I thought I knew best. My body pays the price every morning when I get out of bed. All them high-risk maneuvers and all the stuff that I thought was cool and thought was getting me over, it comes with a price. Would I change things? No, because for me, it did work. And, everybody's different, though. When I tell guys, you don't need to do all that stuff. And even if they're working with me, I have guys that they tell me they want to do 25 things. I'm like, guys, no, we're not doing that. And, they get the boo-boo face. They just, I can't get my stuff. That's not what it's about. It's about giving the crowd a show and giving them a match that they will remember when they go home. They're not going to remember every flip and flop and fly that you do. They're not going to remember who wins or loses, most likely. They're going to remember if your stuff was solid and you put on a good, entertaining match. And I still try to deliver on that So, I mean, you may not see me go to the top rope nowadays, but you can guarantee that I'm going to be entertaining and a great time if you come and watch me wrestle.
Absolutely. And then a little bit to talk about there is, like, you know, like you said, I mean, you have had that experience and you've done the working and you've kind of gone up to this point and you've had some very memorable matches. And one in specific that I wanted to talk about that I had actually seen was your feud with Shane Douglas and taking the franchise name.
Yeah, I mean, I got the word that Shane Douglas was coming to a show, and I was already scheduled to work him in a couple months. So what better way than to show up at this show, meet Shane Douglas backstage, and call him out, you know, because, you know, in Indiana, I've been around, I've worked all the territories, I worked for all the promotions, and it's crazy to think, but, you know, I've been wrestling for 25 years now, and nobody pretty much has that. They can't say it. Most of the guys that I come up with a few exceptions, Bobo's still out there, TJ Powers is still out there, not many left. So you come into my house and, you know, I'm the franchise here in Marion. That's what I told Shane Douglas. You come to Indiana and I'm the franchise. So, you know, it was pretty cool calling him out. You know, I've been a huge Shane Douglas fan for many years, and just what he did in ECW was great. Just the character and the way he carried himself. So, hey, you get the chance to work with a guy like Shane Douglas and you take advantage of it. Then, of course, you know, we had a couple matches. I wrestled him a few times for different places, and, you know, it's been back and forth as far as wins and losses. It culminated in a huge cage match here in Marion, Indiana for the ICW promotion. I was the heavyweight champion at the time. He was challenging me for the belt, and we put him down and we beat him. From that day forward, you know, I just took the name. I'm the franchise. So, you know, Shane was cool with it, and, you know, it's something that I'm just running with right now. And, you know, I like it. It seems to get over. Definitely a good heat magnet because, you know, there's only one franchise, and that's Shane Douglas. But you know what? It's doing good right now, so we'll just keep going with it.
Right. That's good then. And I mean, like I said, that was one of your more memorable matches, but, like, I mean, you've had so many amazing ones. But specifically, you know, we've talked a lot about promotions and matches, but, you know, you mentioned the ICW. So tell us about ICW and what that company meant to you.
ICW is basically a lucha promotion. It's with actually the guy that runs it, the guy I went to high school with. Okay. He actually was trained by Cousin Bubba right after I started in the business. His name's Jesse Ortega. He wrestled as the Seminole Warrior. So, you know, he wanted to start a promotion in town, you know, just lucha, basically. But, you know, with a strong American style. But it's got a strong lucha style, too. He uses a lot of guys from Mexico. And, you know, I'm local, too. We've been friends for a long time. So, you know, I started working for him. Had the opportunity to win the championship in his promotion, and I ran with it for a couple of years. He brought in a lot of guys, and I got to wrestle some of the top talent in the U.S. and Mexico both. So, I mean, it was awesome. It's still an awesome promotion. You know, they draw good. He takes care of his guys, and, you know, it's right in my hometown, so I don't have to go anywhere, which is a big plus.
Absolutely. So, I mean, like I said, you've had a very successful in-ring career, and as far as we know, a very successful out-ring career. But before we get too far, you know, like we've been talking about, wrestling's changed a lot from, you know, back when you had started to now. And, you know, what would you say is probably the biggest change in wrestling, other than, of course, the, you know, people's styles changing, but do you think there's any significant thing that is changed?
Yeah, like I'll go back to when I used to wrestle guys like Quicksilver and guys like Dan Garza. It's changed a lot because they used to beat the crap out of me. They used to try to make me quit. I mean, they would literally, I don't know how many times they would chop me in a match. You know, Dan would get me in the corner and wear me out. Then he'd tag Quicksilver. He'd wear me out. These guys are laughing their heads off. I'm a 16, 17-year-old kid. They're just mauling me. But I wouldn't quit. I love the business, and that's something that, you know, I had the heart, and that's what pushed me to get better and get more opportunities on different shows, because I didn't quit when they would just beat the mess out of me. I mean, they would just laugh. It would be so funny. But today, it's so easy for guys to get in. They don't have to go through that stuff. And when it gets hard, they do quit. I don't know how many times I've seen it throughout the years. You'll get a guy that comes in, he's got a good body, he looks like a wrestler, and they want to push him to the moon. He's only wrestled a couple months in training. Hey, Troy, why don't you put this guy over? I don't got a problem putting the guy over, but you know what? In 6 months, where is this guy? He's not even in the business anymore. I don't know how many times that happens. It's like they just don't have what it takes. Just to be honest, guys do not have what it takes anymore. Very few. There's a guy that I don't know how many times I've trained guys or got them in the ring. They said they want to be wrestlers. I want to be a wrestler. So I have them show up to the ring. After they get slammed one time or take one bump, you never hear from them again. There's a guy now named Lennox King. I took him under my wing. He's a huge wrestling fan. He wanted to be a wrestler, and I was thinking, this, going to be like everybody else, but the dude was a natural. Reminds me a lot of myself as far as, just he needed to be in a ring. Once he got in there, he got comfortable with everything. He was fine. And he just, as far as taking bumps, you just got to learn how to do that, and everything else falls into place. And he was good. So he's got a pretty good career. He's getting booked out all over the place now, and anything I can do to help him, I will. But it's just guys do not have a lot of heart anymore, and when it gets tough, they want to hang it up.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So definitely, those are good words of wisdom. That's a very huge thing that's happened nowadays, like you said, that people don't have that same drive. But to more talk about your career as well, though, you, like we said, you've had a very successful in-ring career, and you've also had a very successful outside of ring career. And if people can hear, I actually think, I'm going to quote this, because you're a successful DJ. I'm assuming you're at a gig right now, aren't you?
I am. Yeah, I just set up for a wedding here in Indianapolis at the Willows. That's probably, you hear people talking. There's a lot of hustle and bustle going on in here. But yeah, I just used the personality and everything I used in my wrestling business. My buddy, he was a DJ. He did my wedding, and he runs a successful DJ company, and he's always looking for new help. He had a guy quit, and he was looking for somebody, and he's been trying to get me to come work for him ever since he did my wedding. And finally, he wore me down. And, I'm in my 40s now. I'm 43 years old. It's not as easy to bounce back from, taking a few bumps. So we just, I started DJing, and, it's at first it was just a means to make money, but now it's like, it's become my passion. It's become something that, I really enjoy and I really like to do. And it's kind of taken that place a little bit from my weekend wrestling bookings. But, I do have some Saturdays off that I am available, and if you catch me early enough, you just may get the franchise on one of your shows.
So then, obviously, with that word of wisdom there, that means your in-ring career is far from over then.
Oh, I'm not done yet. I think my body will tell me when I am done. Like I said, over the years, I haven't done myself any favors, but I think I still got a few more left in me, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. So, like we've talked about, you had a very exciting career. You've worked so many places, and you've done quite a bit other than wrestling. So far, what has been the top highlight of your career for you personally?
There's two, actually. When I met the American Kickboxer, and then when he came into Pro Wrestling International, me and him had a couple matches down there, and one of them was a complete clinic. It was a barn burner. That match was shown all over the United States. People talk to me about that match today. It really set the wrestling world on fire. I got booked at so many me and him went to Kentucky, Ohio, Michigan. We went everywhere. People wanted us on the card, Kickboxer versus Top Rope Troy, and we tore it up every time we delivered. And that was a style before cruiserweights even really got big. The guys weren't doing that back then, and we were just tearing it up. and it really did just, my career just skyrocketed from there. I can't thank Kickboxer enough for just being a cool guy and just being just awesome in the ring. For what I lack, he totally made up for. And, dude, it was just, I look back on those matches, they still hold the test of time. And, man, I wish I could move like that today. Another good match that I had that I really look back on with a lot of fondness is when I got the opportunity to wrestle Juventud Guerrera. And ICW, they brought Juventud in to wrestle me. He actually beat me for the ICW championship. Me and him tore it up, dude. Juventud, I watched that guy on TV so much, and, he's a huge star in Mexico and across the whole world. And just to be able to get in there and go toe-to-toe with a guy like that, I don't get the big head. I don't want to brag or think that I'm something that I'm not, because, that's not me at all. But, that's with a lot of stars that have been on TV, and each and every one of them have been impressed, that we sit there and talk, and, they tell me that, you really got talent. Why haven't you tried to do anything? But, I've always had a good job. Even, right out of high school, I got a job at a factory, and I was making, $600 a week. I didn't have the part-time to run all over lace wrestling. So wrestling was never, it was my passion, but when I was younger, I did have the aspirations to do something with it. But, as reality set in and life went on, it was just going to be a hobby, something that I did on the weekends. And I wasn't going to, run off chasing my dream. But just to know that, when you wrestle with these guys and tell you, you got talent and you can do something, and you can hang with them and have good matches, that does something for you. It makes you feel good. It makes you, what, if I did push a little harder, what would have happened? But, I don't have no regrets. I'm content with, I love independent wrestling. It is, I can be who I want to be. I can express myself the way that I want to express myself. I'm not, conformed to some tight, tiny little package of who they tell me I have to be. So, it's been a great ride. Had a great career. I've met several cool people along the way. I've got no complaints.
Absolutely. That's the best way to have it, because, no regrets moving forward. So as we kind of wind down the interview, let's just talk a little bit about Troy then. Just some cool little fun facts, I suppose. But what's one thing that most fans don't know about Troy Miller?
Most of the time I'm a heel, my persona these days. I'm the bad guy. A lot of people think I'm a jerk and an egotistical idiot. They don't see me, on Sunday mornings serving at church and, trying to help out young kids with, different problems and stuff like that, and just trying to be a mentor to guys in the back on what to do, what not to do, how to live their life. I've got the opportunity where I see a lot of people and I touch a lot of people. I have an influence on people's lives, and I try to be a positive influence on people and try to lead them down a path where, I've been there a lot. I've wrestling hasn't always been good for a marriage, let's say, and for, life in general sometimes. And, since I've been there, and, I can warn younger guys of the pitfalls of, a little bit of fame and thinking you're somebody, stuff like that. So it's really good to be able to use these opportunities that God has given me to try to help other people out.
Absolutely. So then as well, what are your goals for the remainder of 2017? We only have a couple of months left, so do you have any goals for the rest of the year?
I know, man. I am booked all the way up till the end of the year. I'm going to Disney World in about a month, so it's been a long summer. I can't wait to get to Disney World, take my family there, and have a good time in Florida with Mickey Mouse. But as far as the end of the year, there's really not too many wrestling matches on the horizon for me. I'm going to miss Heroes and Legends, which really bums me out. But you know what? The beginning of the year is kind of dead for the DJ business, January and February. Not too many weddings going on. So I may just show up somewhere where you least expect me.
Right on. And then last thing, any guys you want to work before you do have to hang it up, or is there any kind of list you got?
I do have a little bit of a list. There's a guy named Flash Flanagan that I worked a long time ago, and for some reason it's just, never happened where we could wrestle again. I would love to wrestle Flash one more time. I would love to get Dan Garza back in the ring and give him a receipt for all them times he bloodied up my chest but you know what? I don't think that's going to happen either. So, just whoever they bring in. I mean, I can work with pretty much anybody, and I just new challenges and new things to, look forward to is what I like about the business. You never know what's going to happen, and you just try to take advantage of every opportunity you're put in.
Right on. Well, kind of a side note, Dan Garza is a Diamond Dan. He's a friend of the show, so we'll leave that open invitation for him sometime. All right. So,
he's another fellow DJ as well, so we both got out of the business. We got out of the business of taking bumps for spinning the tunes.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Well, I guess the last thing for you then is any social media where fans can follow you, anything to keep up with their career or even book you as a DJ?
For sure, man. I mean, I think I got the gamut covered. You got me on Facebook, Troy Miller. I'm on Instagram at 1974 Superstar. My DJ company's DJSoundSolution.com. The phone number is 765-618-6098. And, just look for me. I'm on everything. I'm even on Snapchat, folks. So, you can pretty much follow me anywhere, and I'm not hard to get a hold of.
Well, there you go, guys. You've heard it here. Follow him on Snapchat. No, follow him everywhere. Well, first of all, thanks, Troy, for coming on here. I know that you're busy. I really appreciate you coming on here and talking to us. It's been a legitimate honor.
Not a problem, guys. Anything I can do to help out, I love to do it.
Come crack open a cold one and let Old Mancer tell you a story.
King of Big Dog Style, Larriton Light Beer, the king of the trailer court, your favorite wrestler of mine, me.
This is Warner's Wisdom with Mance Warner.
All right, people, here we go. Red light on that mean old man. So we're going to stop in here and talk to y'all real quick. Let me kick these shoes off. Got to get comfortable in here. It's a Sunday. All right, old man, sir. Right here on another edition of the Dave Dynasty Show, the king of Big Dog Style, Larriton Light Beer, the Southern Psycho, knee pad up, knee pad down, dramatic pause, dramatic pause, dramatic pause, wackadoo. Old Big Dog, Mr. No Knee Pads Needed, king of the trailer court. Y'all know how it goes down here, baby. Old man, sir, right here on the Dave Dynasty Show, the best part of the Dave Dynasty Show. Another edition of Warner Wisdom right here, people. This ain't going to be too long on here. I'm out here drinking some light beers, going to enjoy the event, the sports event tonight on the TV there. Old man's going to keep this quick and simple. I've been busy all week. Thursday, IWA Mid-South. Saturday, IWA Mid-South. Friday, I was doing something too. I can't remember. I forget things sometimes, people. I'm always on the road. I've been sleeping in that beautiful truck I got, wearing those beautiful T-shirts that y'all can find on ProWrestlingTee.com. I got to shut this door here. Hold on now. I got the AC on. I don't be wasting no cool air now. Hold on. All right, there you go. Sorry there, people. Old master of cheapskate. I don't want to leave that door open and let all the cold air outside. Now, like I said, busy man, making times, getting the W, hitting the pay window, my green and my white. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That means my green money and my white envelope. Get your mind out of the gutter there, people. Now, like I said, I'm going to keep it short and sweet this week. The wisdom I'm going to pass on to y'all has to do with old master, more of a story than wisdom, I suppose, but it still would be wisdom for y'all. It is a question I get every single week from the boys and the ladies in the locker room. They go, "Oh master, what in the good Lord are you drinking on right there, baby?" Everyone knows. Let me pull my water out here. Everyone knows I carry this big old gallon jug of water right here. And people always ask me, "Oh master, they always go, "Oh master, what are you sipping on in there? That is the grossest looking water I've ever seen in my life." And everybody wants to give old master hell and rib me and give me hell over my water jug. They say, that water jug is dirty. What are you drinking? That can't be good for you. My God, what is it? Old Master always explain it to him now. This is good mineral water. Mineral water. I've been busy all day, people. Bear with me here. It's good mineral water right there. There ain't nothing wrong with this water. Now I'm gonna give you I'm gonna dive into it, give you a little story time, and explain where Old Master gets this water from, so y'all understand that. Everyone always asks me the question, Master, where you get that water from? I'm going to tell you real quick. Right here, right now, on More Wisdom right here, on the Dave Dynasty Show, Master, going to diverge into it here and let y'all know what I'm talking about. Now, Old Master likes to save his money. So, you will not ever find Old Master going in to a gas station or Aldi's or a DG, Dollar General, buying no water. I will go there and buy, maybe you see me there maybe a couple times a year. Because what I do is I buy me a big old gallon of water, right? Drink all that water up, and then I refill it, and I have my own system upon how Old Master refills this water out here. Now, this is what Old Master does. Drink up all my water. I'm empty. I need to go get some more water, correct? You following me here now? You get what I'm talking about? I head down the road. I exit the trailer court and I walk down the road a little bit. It's usually take me about 10 minutes to get to the entrance to my water facility. What Old Master does here is I remove a drainage cap at the end of the road, and Old Master proceeds to climb down a ladder. This ladder takes me. It's dark, it's gloomy, it could be scary down there for some people. Old Master ain't afraid. These are my stomping grounds. I go here all the time to get my water. I drink me about a gallon of water every day. That means about every day I go down there and I get my refill. I go down this ladder, and then I come to an entrance. Upon the entrance, I have to knock. I have to do a certain knock. I was getting ready to show you a knock, but if I show you a knock, then everyone's going to be going to my water hole and get on my free water. This is Mancer's deal. Okay, I do my knock there, and that is to let the people know down here in the sewer system that Old Mancer coming in. I mean no harm. Then we're all on the same page. Correct? You following me here? So, Mancer makes his way down there. I go straight down, take a left, take a right, take another left, take a right, keep on walking straight. And then that's where I see my buddies, my pals, my good old friends I know for many, many, many moons, many days, many nights. I know them for a long time. Sometimes they surprise me and they have water jugs for me already filled up and cooled for me, depending on how they feeling that week. I don't expect them to do it, but if they do, it's all right with Old Mancer. I appreciate it and I thank them. It's very cordial. It's very nice hospitality on their part to help Old Mancer out, and I go about my business. Now, the friends I'm talking about is a gang, a group of turtles. Turtles. They're turtles that were in a lab. They're originally from New York City. They're in a lab. A little spill went down. Turtles grew into the size of men. They're all about 6'1", 6'2", right around there. All got pretty good bench press. They got a nice weightlifting system down there that Old Master partakes in as well, depending on what day of the week it is. I don't want to be down there all the time. We're talking about a sewer, for Christ's sake, people. Now, the turtles, I ain't going to say their names. I feel like I don't need to, because that's my business, not yours. Now, the gang, I prefer to call them a group, because I think the term gang gets thrown around too much nowadays, and I don't want my buddies down in the sewer to get a bad rap on this here. Now, right? Okay. So, Mancer goes down there. They are smart turtles, people. They know what they're doing. They got a side gig. We all got a side hustle. Their side hustle is they protect the town. They protect the city. So, they also protect Old Mancer, and they keep me hydrated with this beautiful sewer water that they have a filtration system that they use down there. Dave explained it to me many, many times. Good water. And I couldn't tell you not one damn thing about how it works. I don't know. They explain it to me every time I go down there, get a couple light beers in me. They don't drink. I'm not here to judge nobody. I bring some down there and I offer it. I know they're not going to take it. More for me. It's cool. I drink my light beers. They tell me about their day. I tell them about my day. I get my water. They always try to explain the filtration system that they use. I don't ever know what's going on. I don't know how it works. I ain't ever going to understand it. That's just the way it is. Now, so for all you fools, all you dummies, all you jamokes out there at the wrestling shows who want to get on old Messer about his water intake, his mineral water. It looks that way because it's been through a filtration system from my buddies, the turtles, down in the sewer. Good water. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Now, I'm going to get back to my light beers. I got my water here to stay hydrated because that's all I need is to be hungover and feeling bad in the morning. No one needs that. Take some Tylenol. Take some of that Aleve in there. I think that's supposed to do something while you're drinking. I ain't sure. I just drink my light beers and my good old water over there from my turtle friends down the sewer now. Okay, old man's gonna get off here. Oh my Lord, I just busted my toe right on there. I could have broke it. Jesus Christ almighty. Oh my Lord. Okay. Oh man. Jesus. Okay, see what I did right there? I didn't cuss though. I've been working on trying not to cuss as much as I usually do. Old Mance out there, you know. Any day of the week, y'all could make a change, make a positive change. That's what I'm talking about. There you go. That's my wisdom for the week right there. See, things just happen that way. The good Lord makes it go down that way, man. Give you something, you learn from stuff. See, I'm just talking about my turtle friends, and I bust my toe over here, and I drop a little wisdom on y'all, man. Any single day, y'all can wake up and say, I'm going to make a positive change today. And that's what y'all need to do out there now. Y'all have a good week. Like I said, always say, probably ain't going to be as good as old Mance's, but come on, man. I hang out with turtles down in the sewer and drink this beautiful water and these beautiful light beers. I got a beautiful truck. I got beautiful t-shirts. ProWrestlingTees.com. Get on there and buy one right now. You can get it in a tank top. Get it now because it's going to start getting cold out there, people. Get a tank top. Get a regular tee. I don't care, man. Buy it. Throw some towels and make a big old sweater out of it. I don't care what you do now with them. Okay, I'm going to get off here. Y'all have a good week. Old Messer, King of Big Dog Style, Southern Psycho, another edition of the Dave Dynasty Show, Warner Wisdom, best part of the Dave Dynasty Show. I'll see y'all next week.
Hey, Dave Dynasty here for the Tommy Wildfire Rich School of Wrestling in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. You know, I've spent years in the wrestling business from wrestler to promoter and now as host of the Dave Dynasty Show. And I know that solid training from an experienced instructor is mandatory, and that is what you'll get at the Tommy Wildfire Rich School of Wrestling. Not only instruction from former NWA World Heavyweight Champion Tommy Wildfire Rich, but many other big-name wrestlers, managers, and referees that will come in as guests. The Tommy Rich School of Wrestling will provide in-ring training and personal character training with all practices recorded on high-definition cameras. They have over 2 tons of weightlifting equipment, tanning beds. It's all in an indoor sports facility that will host monthly wrestling events that will bring in big names to ensure that you, as a beginning student, can get seen. This school has it all. For anyone interested in proper training, contact the Tommy Wildfire Rich School of Wrestling at 843-691-9205, and you will immediately be on your way to a profession in the wrestling business. Once again, call the Tommy Wildfire Rich School of Wrestling in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina at 843-691-9205. And welcome back to the Dave Dynasty Show. I am your host, Dave Dynasty. As if you were expecting anything else, thank you for joining us. We do appreciate it. Means a lot to us. And, you know, like I said earlier, help preserve the legacies of these guys that deserve it. Guys like Troy Miller, guys that mean so much in whatever area you are. Even if you're not from the Midwest, I do hope you still listen, even if you're not in the Midwest, to learn about what we're about here. And then go out and support and do in your area the same thing, you know, support those guys. And next week, we have, next week is our 1-year anniversary of the Dave Dynasty Show. Our very first episode dropped on October 3rd of 2016. So, yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to do exactly. You know, I'm getting together with Ike. We're actually going to record together again next week, like we used to. And I think we might call up some past guests and see what's going on and get a little update with them on what they've been up to. And me and Ike, we'll do our banter. We'll have a little fun. We'll reminisce. We'll look back. I'm sure Mance Warner will be involved with some wisdom or whatnot, or maybe we'll call Mance. Who knows what we'll do? We're going to leave it wide open. Just have some fun with it. Celebrate 1 year of the Dave Dynasty Show. Sometime this week, I do intend to get Dr. Jerry Graham Jr. on the horn and record our first episode of Graham's Gallery, where I have a whole slew of questions you guys have submitted, and we're gonna have him answer those and tell some stories. You can follow the Graham's Gallery monthly episodes on Twitter at Dr. Graham Jr., and that's DOCTOR, spelled out, Graham Jr., and you can use that to submit your questions for future episodes. We're going to do this monthly. It's going to be a lot of fun. The doc has done a lot of things, and it's going to be great to hear him tell those stories, answer your questions. We're also, should be this week, releasing the very first episode of the Midwest Express web series, compilation show with matches submitted by several promotions here in the Midwest. Will be lots of fun. Commentary provided by Phil Stamper. Should be good fun. Give you a little sampling taste of professional wrestling in the Midwest, and hopefully that will cause you to go out and pursue these groups and explore a little more and become a fan of theirs. That's my mission, right? Give you a taste so that you can go out and do what you want with that. I'll be recording with Richard Vicek, hopefully within the next week, with that Rise of the WWA episode. We have not forgotten. We have notes together. We're ready to go. We are going to get on it and record, talking about the first 4 or 5 years, I believe 5 years of the WWA. This is going to end up being a multi-part series where we're going to try to discuss the entire history of the WWA all the way up through Bruiser Bedlam. I'll have different guests appropriate to the times to help discuss guys that were there firsthand. We're talking about the rise here in the mid to late 60s of WWA, and then we'll have an episode on the 70s and an episode on the 80s up to, and then probably another episode just specifically on Bruiser Bedlam. Should be great, and hopefully help bring a little exposure to WWA and how great it was and what it meant here in the Midwest. So, all right. I apologize for the mellowness of my dissertations today, but a lot weighing heavy on my heart here with the loss of Dallas James and Bobby Heenan. Oh well, that's the way it is. Help remember those guys. Help preserve those guys. Make sure history in the world remembers them. Next week, the 1 year anniversary of the Dave Dynasty Show is going to be a very fun, very special episode. We'll have Ike Isaacs on along with several guests returning, maybe a few new. Who knows what we'll do? We're just going to let it roll, have fun, probably drink some beer and enjoy. Reminisce and celebrate 1 year of doing this mess here on the Midwest Express. Until then, fans, be good, be safe, be independent, and keep on growing. Thank you and goodbye.